Our top priority, they said, when redesigning our website is to ensure that we support a personalised experience for users. That was the directive set from the top of one organisation I've recently been working with. Setting aside there's little explanation as to what they mean by personalisation, it was a worthy goal. There is little doubt that personalising a user's experience can be beneficial both to the user and to the company as well. But there was a problem. They were so far from that goal that it was almost comical. Their current site wasn't mobile friendly, was challenging to use and full of marketing happy talk. Talking about personalisation felt a bit like giving a starving child in Africa a motivational poster. It's a nice gesture, but it doesn't really address their immediate issue. The chances are you're aware of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's the model that makes it clear that giving starving kids motivational posters isn't going to be much help to them. Sure, it might make them feel good about themselves, but they're still going to be starving. Maslow understood that addressing self-esteem before basic physiological needs like food was pointless. And the same basic principle applies to websites too. Unless the fundamentals are in place, there's no point of introducing things like personalisation. Take for example the site I mentioned at the beginning. At the most basic level, it was inaccessible. Unless users can access your site, irrespective of the device or bandwidth or whatever else, then your site's failed. Even if they had gone as far as addressing the accessibility issue, they were still a long way from personalising the experience. Next, they would need to address the questions that users actually have. You can make the most amazing experience you want, but if users go away confused, then ultimately you failed. But once you have the right content, you can then start worrying about the nuances of creating a user-friendly experience. But even that doesn't begin with personalization. It begins with the basics of usability. Only then can you start talking about a personalized experience. Not that I'm bashing personalization. In fact, I would argue that personalization is more important than some of the other areas management seem to push. For example, creating a personal experience for users is a lot more important than some of the persuasive and manipulative marketing copy that people like to write. That kind of persuasive marketing is at the most the pinnacle of the website's hierarchy of needs. Of course, it can be hard to know where you sit on this scale. Is your website accessible enough? After all, you can always make your website more accessible. Is it usable enough? Again, it can always be better, can't it? Unfortunately, I can't give you a black and white answer into these kinds of questions. What I can tell you is that marketers and management are not the best people to be making this decision. That's why many organisations commission an outside expert to do a site review and to help them work these things out. But actually, the best way of determining how your site is performing on the user's hierarchy of needs is to ask users. See if they can access your site. Ask them if the site answers their questions. Test how well they can find the information they need, and only then start worrying about personalization and persuasive marketing. Some would argue that things like personalization and persuasion are crucial to business success. Personalization allows more targeted sales messages, and if a site's not persuasive, then it's going to fail. But I would challenge these assumptions. We're not living in the world of traditional marketing anymore. Today's consumers come to us. They visit our website. Websites aren't about broadcasting into people's homes like it used to be with TV. The fact that they visit our website proves that they're already interested in our product or service. All we need to do is answer their questions and address their concerns. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do this in a persuasive way, but before we worry about being persuasive, we need to ensure we're answering what they actually are asking. Take, for example, frequently asked questions. I've got a deep dislike of them. The reason? Your entire site should be a frequently asked questions section. But more than that, your FAQs are not always frequently asked questions. Instead, they're questions that the company wants to push for some marketing message or other. Before we start pushing our agenda, we need to address the agenda of our users. Only then do we earn the right to sell at them. So, next time somebody at your company comes up with a new feature for the site, ask whether you're addressing the basics first. Only then should you start climbing to the next level of the user's hierarchy of needs.